Chapter 15. The Law of Emotion. Principle. There is a piece of flesh in the body. If it becomes good, reformed, the whole body becomes good, but if it gets spoilt, the whole body gets spoilt. And that is the heart. Sahih al-Bukhari. If someone or something can control your emotion, they or it can control your whole reality. This is not an exaggeration. Ancient wisdom has always stated that he who makes you mad is your master. This is true not just for the physical, but also the metaphysical. When it comes to manifestation, there seems to be this hyperfixation on thoughts alone as being the sole contributor to your reality, but a simple reverse engineering of reality reveals otherwise. If I can control your emotion, I can control your energy in motion. If I can control your energy in motion, I can control your vibration. If I can control your vibration, I can control your frequency. And if I can control your frequency, I can control your reality. The idea of controlling emotions seems beyond us, and that's because we have been sold the lie that our emotions are out of our control. Ironically, this belief leads to a frequency where it appears they are, which ultimately leads to a reality that appears out of your control. It is a paradox that many desire to control their reality, but claim they have no control over their emotions. So long as emotions are out of your control, all attempts at controlling your reality will always appear out of your control. Emotions only appear to be out of your control because that's how reality also appears. Things happen to you as you go through life, cementing the idea that they are outside your control. You will never get to your desired reality while maintaining the belief that emotions are out of your control. Emotion is the largest shareholder of your frequency. Its domino effect ripples throughout reality. Your old frequency will attempt to convince you of the lie that your emotions are out of your control. As it throws adversity at you, you will feel as though you have no choice other than to submit and simply accept the frequency of this adversity. A side effect of this is emotional turbulence. Unfortunately, this internal turbulence leads to external turbulence. Emotions themselves also act as glue, sticking you to a frequency and indirectly a state of reality. Negative emotions will always glue you to negative conditions, circumstances, events, and even people. Positive emotions will always glue you to the positive conditions, circumstances, events, and even people. If you experience adversity and as a result experience negative emotions, if not transmuted, those negative emotions will glue you to that adversity, which does nothing more than solidify and strengthen it in your life. If emotions are the largest shareholder of your frequency, that means your base emotional state, which we call an attitude, is the central unfolding point of your reality. Attitude is defined as a settled way of thinking or feeling about something. Your attitude is the emotional baseline that, through repetition, has become ingrained in your identity. A simple thought experiment that takes a couple of seconds can prove to you that you have always been in your control of your emotions. Close your eyes and relax. When you feel calm, imagine the person that matters to you the most. See them and allow the love to appear. Then imagine the idea of being at that person's grave. Those negative or uncomfortable feelings you just felt were conjured by you. That was you doing it consciously. Most of the time you do it unconsciously, so you don't realize that whether consciously or unconsciously, it is still in your control. The moment you awaken to the truth that you control your emotions, you'll have the entirety of reality in the palm of your hands. Detach from the idea that they are above you and out of your control, because indirectly, this is a confession that reality is out of your control. Without emotion, nothing works. It is the true language of the subconscious mind, and the moment you speak it, you will be understood by the universe. Imagine you only speak Spanish. and you encounter someone who only speaks Mandarin. You can spend as much time and effort speaking as you want, but there will be little progression. That's not to say it will all be in vain. There may be instances of understanding, but it is not ideal, nor is it optimal. All miscommunication leads to confusion. How many miscommunicate with the universe? When the universe understands you, the materialization of your desired reality is inevitable. But when it doesn't, the materialization of your desired reality is a struggle. Sometimes it can feel like you've done everything you possibly can on your journey to manifesting your desired reality, but still, nothing. You may have tried multiple manifestation techniques such as affirmations, vision boards, scripting, visualizations, or subliminals, but still, nothing. Even though you've done the most, you're still getting the least. If you fall into this category, it's because you're not speaking the language of the universe. The secret to the most powerful and efficient language of the universe lays in the first organ that God gives you when you incarnate on this physical plane, the heart. Emotion is the true language of the subconscious mind. It is the gateway to everything you're trying to manifest. The subconscious mind operates without logic, reason, or rationale. It is inherently illogical, much like emotion itself. Emotions don't follow a structured, rational framework. They simply arise and flow. This shared, irrational nature creates a direct parallel between the two, as both function beyond the realm of conscious reasoning and instead shape reality through feeling and impression rather than analysis. To control emotion is to control the subconscious. Think of emotion like the vibrational language through which manifestation occurs, as what is deeply felt becomes frequency, which then materializes into reality. Those who run the world don't require physical force. They simply need to control the emotions of the masses, to control their subconscious minds so they can create their own reality and justify it as truth. Now remember, the reality that you are currently experiencing is the result of the frequency you are tuned into. Think about it like a radio station. Each frequency emits a different sound, and reality is no different. Always remember, realities are nothing more than the reflection of their frequency. Emotion is equal to frequency, and frequency is equal to your reality. Emotions play the largest role in what you experience in reality. The heart and emotions are the key. Most people make the mistake of not injecting emotion into their thoughts, intended to materialize their desired reality. Affirmations without emotion are dead. Visualization without emotion is dead. Vision boards without emotion are dead. Positive thinking without emotion is dead. It is the missing key which will unlock everything that you have been doing. It is what supercharges the frequency of a specific thought, making it more likely to materialize in reality. Since emotion is the language of the subconscious mind, it is the language of God. In the teachings of the Bible, the Quran, and ancient Egypt, Kemet, the heart has always been the gateway to eternal life and the consciousness of the infinite intelligence. The heart is revered in nearly all ancient scriptures and spiritual traditions, yet its deeper esoteric significance is often overshadowed or overlooked in favor of intellectual understanding. For as he thinketh in his heart, so is he. Eat and drink, saith he to thee, but his heart is not with thee. Proverbs 23:7. The verse does not state, for as he thinketh, so is he, but in his heart, illustrating that thoughts nurtured with emotion lead to one's frequency. Not all thoughts are made equal. It is not thought alone that leads to creation of one's reality, but the thoughts that are backed by the heart, by emotion. Keep thy heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life. Proverbs 4:23. This verse illustrates that the heart must be protected. for the issues that we experience in reality stem from it, and with a metaphysical understanding it all makes sense. The heart produces emotion. Emotion is energy in motion. When energy that is in motion gains momentum, it becomes vibration. When vibration continues to gain momentum, it becomes frequency. Frequency is nothing more than immaterialized reality. The suffering that we often experience can be traced to our hearts, and so ultimately, our frequency. Many suffer adversity and let reality hurt or distort their hearts naturally, but unfortunately, this leads to a distorted reality. Everything is a reference to everything you can experience in reality. The origin of reality is your frequency, and a large percentage of your frequency is derived from the heart. It has been stated that the heart produces an electromagnetic field that is 60 to 100 times larger than that of the brain, highlighting the power of the heart. In ancient Egypt, Kemet, it was believed that the heart recorded all the good and bad deeds of a person's life and was needed for judgment in the afterlife. Practical. Your emotional state nourishes and allows your mental state, which can take place either positively or negatively. The emotional state that you occupy must be reflective of your desired reality, meaning that you must feel how you'd feel in your desired reality, now. Emotion is not just euphoria, joy, excitement, or happiness. It can refer to serenity, calm, bliss, accomplishment, or satisfaction. It isn't necessarily overwhelmingly intense, although it can be. It must simply be as close as possible to how you'd feel in your desired reality. One way to access the emotional state that you would have in your desired reality is to exist in the mental state that you would have in your desired reality. The other technique, prescribed earlier, is when you internally, intensely, and vividly experience your desired reality to generate the emotion you would feel. The more you do this, the more emotion you'll generate internally. It should be noted that the more you experience your desired reality internally, the less you'll desire it externally, since the emotions eventually burn out like fuel. This is perfect. People often conclude, after learning the power of emotions, that they must ignore negative ones, as they will ruin everything. The truth of reality is that adversity is inescapable. There will be instances in which reality presents an emotionally stimulating experience that is negative. There's nothing wrong with feeling negative emotions. The real issue isn't the emotions themselves. It's the lack of awareness around what they are, what they signify, and how to transmute them. Without that understanding, emotion becomes confusion. With it, emotion becomes power. Emotions are signposts showing whether you are heading in a direction that is either aligned or misaligned with your desires. They are indicators. It is common for vehicles to display a flashing symbol on the dashboard when something is wrong. Emotions are like those flashing symbols showing whether you are creating a reality that is either aligned or misaligned. Negative emotions are an indication that you are centralizing your consciousness on an aspect of reality that is unwanted. That centralization of consciousness is typically expressed through either thoughts or focus. The aim of adversity deployed by the old frequency is singular, to immerse you in the whirlwind of emotional turbulence to such a degree that your frequency alters to be resonant with the adversity. Once internally resonant with the adversity, that sets it in motion to eventually be expressed externally. It simply wants to energetically consume you like a tornado so that you cannot see anything beyond it. Think back to a moment of adversity when your internal state became emotionally turbulent. It's as if your perception narrows, clarity fades, and it feels like nothing else matters. The emotional intensity clouds your awareness, making it difficult to see beyond the immediate experience. How often in anger or fury do many claim to see red? a human expression that is deep with esoteric meaning. It illustrates how emotions lead to the alteration of frequency, and frequency is expressed in humans as our awareness, like a lens. When emotional turbulence is introduced within, the lens is smudged. Anytime you find yourself in a negative emotional state, it's a clear sign that the mind is focused consciously or unconsciously on something undesired, whether it's a past event, a current circumstance, or a potential future outcome. The only true way to move through negative emotions is by engaging in a conscious process that shifts the mental filter, distorting the emotional energy, a process known as emotional alchemy. Every unwanted reality or adversity holds within it a hidden energetic polarity that, if uncovered, can begin fueling the materialization of your desired reality. It's rarely obvious but often subtle, concealed beneath emotional noise and mental resistance. But it's always there. No adversity exists without its counterpart, an embedded seed that reflects the very reality you're trying to create. Emotional alchemy is the key to uncovering it. The process of emotional alchemy can be applied to all negative emotion that arises throughout life. 1. Relax, sit or lie down in a quiet space, and allow your body to fully relax. 2. Bring it to mind. Gently bring the adversity, whether it's a situation, person, or event, into your awareness. 3. Feel fully. Let yourself experience the full depth of the negative emotion without resistance or avoidance. Stay present with it. 4. Stay until it shifts. Remain with the emotion until it begins to soften or dissolve. This may take 20, 30, 60 minutes, or even longer. There's no rush. The key is to stay with the feeling until its intensity naturally begins to fade. 5. Reach neutrality. Eventually, the emotional charge will fade, and you'll arrive at a neutral state. 6. Extract the seed. From this place of neutrality, revisit the adversity and search for the hidden seed within it, some perspective or insight that supports your desired reality. 7. Feel the shift. Focus on that new perspective and allow yourself to feel the positive emotions it brings. Immerse yourself in the uplifted state. 8. Integrate. Once you feel the emotional shift, return to your day, keeping your focus on the positive seed. If your mind drifts back to the negative, gently redirect it. Emotional alchemy is a highly adaptable technique that can be applied across a wide range of challenging circumstances. Whether you're facing an empty bank account, an eviction notice, disappointing results, difficult people, or high-stress situations, this process can be extrapolated to any adversity that stimulates negativity within. Emotional alchemy allows you to alter vibration and, therefore, frequency through a switch in concentration. It's about changing the emotional charge rather than being consumed by it. True danger arises when you are so terrified of your negative emotions that you seek to resist them. Frustration, irritation, anger, sadness, apathy, or disappointment aren't to be repressed. They should be fully felt. What you resist persists. It is a mistake to repress or ignore emotions. This line of thinking is associated with toxic positivity, which is a breeding ground for covert negative frequencies to still do damage behind the scenes. There are many positive people in negative realities simply because they fail to hear the song of negativity frequency quietly playing in the backgrounds of their reality. The suppression of emotions doesn't eliminate them. It only drives them underground, where they continue to influence frequency. Negative emotions aren't the issue. The issue is the mental distortion that is coloring the energy of emotion to reflect a particular frequency of negativity. It's not about ignoring the negative emotion. When emotions are fully felt without resistance or mental distortion, they naturally dissolve into pure awareness, revealing the stillness and clarity that was always underneath. The stillness of the pure being you are is untouched by the fluctuations of emotion. When one rests in the presence of God's consciousness, emotions arise and dissolve like waves in the ocean, experienced but never binding. Stillness is the only solution to turbulence. No adversity has authority over you internally unless you grant it so.